Hello everyone, welcome to Conversations with Sakeina. Today we are going to be visiting Mount Shasta, and we're going to be asking questions specifically about the Lemurians. There's a lot of videos out there that talk about Lemurians and Mount Shasta, and that the Lemurians live inside Mount Shasta in a city called Telos. So we're going to ask the cards about that today. In fact, one of the very first missing persons cases that I explored with Lenormand was Carl Herbert Landers. And in that reading, and using the Lenormand method of distance to find out what happened to Carl, the Lemurians were mentioned in that one as well, in that reading specifically. So if you're interested in that, I will put a link to that up in the upper right corner and also in the description box below for you, so you can watch that and see where they fit in with that missing man. But for this video, we're going to ask the cards some questions and find out perhaps whether or not the information about the Lemurians living inside the mountain is true. We'll see what the cards have to say here. So I don't have any pre-planned questions here. So I think the first question that we're going to ask is, is there a special reason if the Lemurians live in Mount Shasta? Is there a special reason that that is the mountain that they chose? Or maybe is it the only mountain that they live inside? So we have the Explorer of Pentacles. We have the Backpacker of Swords. We have the Explorer of Wands. We have the World. And we have the Explorer of Swords. Gracious. That's a lot of explorers. Okay, so the explorers are the queens and the backpackers are the knights. Okay, so with these queens here, I'm going to say the Lemurians do live inside this mountain, but mainly because, you know, it's a cozy place to be. They're very comfortable there. They have access to a number of portals that they need, and it is a place where the energy is very centered, very strong, very safe, very centered. And it looks like here that they did look around, go to other mountains throughout the world and to see if there was one more suitable for them, but this had all the qualities that they needed. It had everything that they needed. Each of the mountains had something, but Mount Shasta seems to be the only one that has everything that they require. So that was a good answer, I think. So I think I would like to ask now if the Lemurians look like they're described. Now, I've heard them described as being about 7 feet tall, kind of ethereal looking, wearing long white robes and sandals, and that their necks are a little bit elongated from what ours would be. They have very fine chiseled features and flowing long white hair. This is what I have heard. So let's see what it says. Guide of Cups, Six of Pentacles, the Magician, Three of Pentacles, and Scout of Cups. And the guide is a king, and the scout is a page. So I don't think that they're really answering that question per se in these cards. I feel like with this King of Cups, I feel like this is saying that the Lemurians can telepathically imprint whatever they wish on the minds of humans. So if they want you to see them, then perhaps they do appear as the 7-foot tall beings with flowing long robes and sandals and chiseled features and so on. But if they want you to see something else, for whatever reason, they can imprint that into your mind as well. Maybe for some people, they're just not ready to see the real Lemurians, so they have to kind of probe the mind quickly and determine which image would be best to see for the particular person that they come across. They're also sharing here that pretty much what I asked about was looks, but they're sharing here that they are very generous people as well, but they have boundaries to their generosity. They determine whether or not a person is in need of their assistance or something that they need, and that's what they will gauge their generosity on. When they're generous, they're very generous. But again, sometimes it is necessary to realize that a person doesn't necessarily need money to be happy. They might just need to boost energy. Also, what they're sharing here is that they are very powerful beings. They have learned to manipulate energy. They've learned to manipulate physical items. They can create whatever they need, any way that they need to create. Anything that they require, there it is. They can just manifest it and it is there for them. So they're very magical beings as well, if you want to call it magical. And it's not unusual for them to work together to create something absolutely magnificent. They oftentimes pool their energies to create something magical within the world for humans and for themselves. So perhaps, as a for instance, if there happened to be a forest fire on Mount Shasta, they might be able to pool their energies to put that fire out to save the mountain. Just an example. However, they do look at the repercussions, the big picture, before they ever do anything like that. And with the Scout of Cups, this is just telling us that the Lemurians view themselves as very loving individuals. They very much enjoy socializing. They love very strongly, and their love is forever. It is the love, unconditional love is what this is all about. So we asked one question about their image, and they gave us more than just the image. They did tell us that they can make themselves into whatever they need to. Perhaps that is one of the images that we obviously have seen, because the 7-foot tall, long flowing robe image is the one that's mainly out there, because I don't think anybody would recognize them as Lemurians if they looked like anything else. So they did share that, but they also shared good information about themselves as well. Now I am interested in knowing if the Lemurians ever have anything to do with those who go missing on Mount Shasta. Do they take people? And if so, why? Okay, let's see here. We have Ace of Cups, Death, Judgment, the Chariot, and the Lovers. Okay, so this is apparently a very important question. We have 4 out of 5 here that are major arcana cards. Okay, so when there is a missing person or a person walking on the mountain that is perhaps lost, ill, something like that, the Lemurians look at it as an opportunity, okay, but not necessarily an opportunity for themselves, okay? They look for people who have physical ailments or are close to death. Some people will go, as a bucket list, they will climb a mountain. So they might sense someone who is near death. They sometimes come across people who have a reservation, we'll put it that way, as though before they were born, the way they chose to go out would be to be taken by the Lemurians. Okay, now these are all things that are done before you're ever born, things you don't know. Your subconscious knows, but you don't, most of us anyway. So if this is the case, they will look at that opportunity as well and make a decision as to whether they should take that person or not. In the death situation, a lot of times they can take that person and heal them if there's a reason to do so. If it does not upset the balance of life, or I think in most cases it's probably if this person was once a Lemurian and reincarnated into a human just to experience that, they might very well be drawn back to Mount Shasta, to the Lemurians. And if that's the case, they're being called to come back. And in that case, either case, the Lemurians will come and pick them up and take them within the mountain. And that is where they become reconnected with the Lemurians if they were once Lemurians in a past life, or they begin to understand the connection of all. They get the Lemurian education, so to speak. And then there are those that do perish on the mountain that the Lemurians do not take. So what we're getting here is that the Lemurians are painting themselves as very loving, kind, giving individuals. If this is the case, why do they not help everyone who gets lost on the mountain? Nine of Cups, Scout of Swords, Seven of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, Scout of Wands, and Scouts are pages. So the Lemurians are saying with this Nine of Cups, they would love to have everyone have exactly what they wish for. But sometimes, because of the way life works, people have to learn for themselves. The Lemurians cannot intercept or cannot change a person's life path for them. If they're meant to get lost in the woods and pass on that way because that is the plan they made with their soul, the Lemurians cannot interfere with that. That's an energy, a specific energy that has to be respected. And the Lemurians, their intuition is incredible. They know what this is about. And sometimes they really don't know what's on the mind of a human. sometimes they can't see that energy because the mind is far too clouded. Sometimes these individuals don't get lost on the mountain. They end up going through portals. And there's nothing that the Lemurians can do about that person if they end up going through portals. And for some people, the experience with the Scout of Wands, the experience is one that they need to have, meaning getting lost on the mountain is something that they need to have to appreciate life. It's something that their soul requires. And usually these people, I'm pretty sure, probably make it out. Otherwise, the lesson would be kind of lost. But everybody would like to go to Telos. It's a beautiful place. It has amazing energy. It gives you everything that you could ever possibly want. And it's something we would probably all enjoy. But again, the Lemurians are saying they have to respect what is. They have to respect the reasoning behind why someone is lost. Okay, so I'm just going to see what it is that the Lemurians would like to share with us, other than what they've already shared. Okay, we have the Four of Cups, Page of Swords, Five of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Hierophant. So the Lemurians are saying with this Four of Cups that sometimes it is necessary for humans to say enough is enough. To say, I've got all this over here and people want to give me more and more. Do I really need it? Or can I work with what I have? Am I ever satisfied with what I have? What I have, I'm safe, I'm secure, I'm stable, but am I ever really satisfied with that? Do I need more? And they're saying here that humans have so much to learn yet, but we need to take the time to learn so that we're not always feeling as though we never have enough, or allowing other people to take what we have, including our own power. Because with the Hierophant, they're saying that we have the ability to have anything we want. We just have to believe in it. We have to believe it's possible. But what they're seeing is, a lot of times how unhappy we are with the Five of Pentacles, and how we're always needing, and how we have so much but are never quite satisfied. So what else would they like to share? We have the Seven of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Ten of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. So with the Seven of Pentacles, they're saying that we have the ability to grow things, to make things grow. But to do that, and this is plants, this is anything that's physical, our pocketbooks, our love life, our anything that is considered physical, we have the ability to make things grow. But to do so, we have to have patience enough to create a foundation so that, for instance, this plant is put into good soil. That's the foundation. And then, because it's put into good soil, and because we have patience to wait for it to grow, it grows. That's everything in the physical realm. We need to have patience to allow it to start from a solid foundation. We also need to understand that it's not good to hold on to things so tightly, because when we do that, nothing can grow. We're hanging on for dear life and nothing can grow. We need to let go. And they're saying we need to be willing to allow others to help us. We need to be willing to just be peaceful with ourselves, to give our minds a bit of a rest sometimes, to let go of all the burdens we feel like we carry on our shoulders. Things that we really don't need to carry, we need to release so that we feel light as a feather. When this happens, when we do these things, and obviously there's more to it than this, but short version here is when we do these things, we are content and have everything that we want without any effort. And I think they're speaking from the standpoint of maybe they were at this point like humans at one time. So they are saying this is this is how you go about changing things for yourself so you can have a good life, or the life that you would like to have, because when you do this, you are in control of how things go for you. There's no more crazy surprises. You're one with your mind. So the last thing I would like to ask of the Lemurians for this reading is, will we ever, as humans, will all of us ever be able to walk among them? In other words, go to Telos, or be able to see them, whether it be on Mount Shasta or anywhere else that they might go. So we have the 10 of Swords, 9 of Swords, the Chariot, the Hermit, and the High Priestess. So with the 10 of Swords, I believe the Lemurians are saying that the answer to this is yes. But to be able to reach that point, we need to go back to the Ace and realize that the things that we think, the things that we say, the things that we do affect everything within our lives. And we can't get stuck. With the 10 of Swords, I look at this as kind of the end of a way of thinking. We've followed this specific course. We've done it. Now it's time to start over with new beliefs, new ways of being, new kind of communication. Open up our intellect. And to do it without being afraid to do it, with no fear. At that point, we'll be on the fast track, moving forward at a very fast rate, but confidently, because we're not afraid. No need to be afraid. And even though we're moving fast, or even time is moving fast, we have the ability to go inside ourselves and really understand what we're all about, because we're opening back up. And sometimes, with whatever happens through that process, we need to step back and take a look and kind of throw out what doesn't work for us and tuck in what does work for us. We need to find out what we're all about. At that point, with the High Priestess, we are allowed into the hidden realms, per se. We're allowed to be able to see with the mind's eye what other people maybe can't see. We're allowed to astral travel and remember that we're astral traveling. So we could always astral travel to Telos We could telepathically communicate with the Lemurians in Telos. We might be able to see with our mind's eye the Lemurians and others walking around on the earth. Things we do not see now because our minds are closed with fear. So I believe that is it for this reading about the Lemurians. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. So until next time, take care.